The film opens with a brief prologue from the previous movie for those who have not seen it. A seriously injured woman, who appears to be fleeing assailants, begs God to save the small child she is carrying. That is when Sangha, Rohini, and her husband, members of a tribe residing in the kingdom's province, save a drowning infant, not knowing the infant's background or what the future contains for him. He grows up as Shivudu, a free-spirited mountaineer who wants to explore the mountains and discovers his roots from the kingdom and his parents, realizing the whole point of his existence and eventually confronting the mighty Balaladeva for his rightful position. The past. After defeating Kalakiyas in the previous film's major battle, Amrindra Baahubali, Prabhas, is declared king by Mother Queen Sivagami, Ramya Krishnan, over Balaladeva, Rana Dagyabadi, who is instead given leadership of the forces as a commander. There is a custom in the kingdom that the royal family's daughter-in-law must perform a sacrifice every now and then by carrying hot coals in a container above her head and walking around the temple to ward off evil spirits. Sivagami does this because she is the family's only daughter-in-law. Amrindra Bahubali demonstrates his might once more when he stops a disgruntled elephant that has fled its harness and is charging towards Sivagami. The event was held because Amrindra Bahubali was to be crowned king. Declaring Amrindra Bahubali king does not alleviate tensions between the two stepbrothers and rivals, as Balaladeva believes he is the legitimate king as the Mother Queen's biological son. As we learned in the previous film, Amrindra Bahubali is the old king's son, and his mother perished while giving birth to him. Because the king's brother was viewed as too weak and cowardly to take the throne, his wife Sivagami, the king's sister-in-law, had the conspirators to the throne murdered and took the throne herself. She was to retain power until one of the two princes demonstrated he was capable of taking over the throne. Sivagami orders Amrindra Bahubali to travel throughout the kingdom and surrounding areas, becoming familiar with the people and various smaller kingdoms that existed within the land, so that he understands the land and the state of the people he will be ruling over. Katapa, Satyaraj, is also sent with him as a companion and security. Meanwhile, the Sivagami would plan his coronation and look for an appropriate bride. During their journey, Amrindra Bahubali and Katapa come across a bandit-infested hamlet. There, they see Princess Devasena, Anushka Shetty, the woman enslaved in the royal courtyard, collecting small pieces of wood from trees and a fire pit in the first film, take on a group of bandits and easily defeat them, while other men from the village fight the remaining bandits. Kamara Varma, Devasena's cowardly relative, leads the villagers. Subbarju. Amrindra Bahubali and Katapa also help the villagers by discreetly confronting a group of bandits hiding in the nearby forest. When Amrindra Bahubali witnesses Devasena fighting, he falls in love with her. Devasena is a Kuntala kingdom princess and the reigning king's sister. After the struggle, the two persuade the princess and her cousin that Amrindra Bahubali and Katapa are uncle and nephew, respectively, and that Amrindra Bahubali is an uneducated fool who was kicked out by his family for being an idiot. Katapa persuades Devasena that they are simple travelers and begs her to accept them. During their time in the palace, Devasena discovers that AB is not a fool, but rather a performer. During their stay, he flirts with her, falls in love with her, and because she likes his flirtation, she does not call him out and simply plays along. Back at the palace, Balaladeva discovers from his spies that Amrindra Bahubali is playing the fool to woo Princess Devasena. When he views the picture he received of Devasena, he falls in love with her. Balaladeva convinces Amrindra Bahubali of his desire to marry Devasena before he can act on it and notify Sivagami. She assures him that Devasena will marry her son despite not knowing about the burgeoning romance between Amrindra Bahubali and Devasena and feeling guilty for passing over her biological son in her choice for king. Sivagami then dispatches a messenger to Devasena's kingdom to ask for her hand in marriage to Balaladeva. However, the messenger denigrates the Kuntala kingdom and insults Devasena, saying she should be grateful for being given a proposal from such a prominent kingdom. In response, the princess insults the messenger and refuses the marriage proposition. Katapa and Amrindra Bahubali, who are unaware that the marriage proposal was made on behalf of Balaladeva, interpret the proposal from the messenger to imply that Sivagami made the decision to marry Amrindra Bahubali to Devasena on her own. Devasena does not disclose his true identity because he is unaware that Amrindra Bahubali is the future king. A short time later, Devasena's kingdom is attacked by a well-organized gang of robbers. In order to fight alongside Devasena and defeat the enemy, Amrindra Bahubali is compelled to reveal himself as a warrior. After the battle, he professes his love for Devasena and invites her to return to his kingdom as his bride. The Devasena's family is supportive of the marriage. Despite receiving an order from Sivagami to imprison Devasena for insulting her offer, Amrindra Bahubali assures her that he will protect her and that she can accompany him back to his kingdom. Sivagami will accept their relationship once they explain the circumstance to her, and everything will be fine. Things don't always go as expected. Devasena and Sivagami detest each other almost immediately. Devasena also states that she will not marry Balaladeva because she dislikes him and refuses to be forced to marry someone she dislikes. Sivagami regards Devasena's denial as an insult, partly because she still feels a little guilty for making Amrindra king instead of Baladeva, and orders the guards to arrest her. Because Amrindra Bahubali assured Devasena that he would not harm her, he comes to her aid. He defies Sivagami's instructions and refuses to let any harm come to her. Sivagami is enraged by Amrindra Bahubali's deeds. Amrindra Bahubali dishonored not only the Queen Mother but also the laws of the kingdom by choosing another lady over her. As a result, Sivagami issues a warning to Amrindra Bahubali. He must choose between being king and Devasena. Amrindra Bahubali, who has fallen in love with Devasena, naturally prefers her over the throne. Balaladeva is crowned king as a consequence of Amrindra Bahubali's choice. Balaladeva's old position as army commander is given to Amrindra Bahubali. When Amrindra Bahubali is crowned commander, the people and guards at the palace applaud loudly for him, shaking the throne by stamping the ground with their spears. Clearly, they still regard him as king. This only serves to enrage Balaladeva further. He determines that Amrindra Bahubali must not have any power or else he will continue to be a threat to his rule and will be delegitimized. Balaladeva uses every opportunity to create a wedge between Amrindra Bahubali and Sivagami, causing tension between the two stepbrothers to continue. He specifically exploits Sivagami's dislike of Amrindra Bahubali's wife Devasena to drive the wedge even deeper. Balaladeva even creates situations in which Devasena appears to be in the wrong, forcing Amrindra Bahubali to protect her. When Devasena becomes pregnant, he abdicates his leadership of the army so that he can spend more time with his wife. However, it was a ruse to deprive Amrindra Bahubali of any power he had in the kingdom. This sparks another feud between Devasena and Sivagami, as Devasena charges Sivagami of standing by while her son takes complete control. Balaladeva gradually strips Amrindra Bahubali of all authority, and the Queen Mother Sivagami has turned against him. When the tensions hit a boiling point, Amrindra Bahubali and Devasena are exiled from the kingdom and forced to reside among the peasants. The pair, who are now living in a workers' village, are content with their lives because they have each other. Amrindra Bahubali assists the villagers by making tools for them so that they do not have to work as hard, while Devasena prepares for the delivery of her child, now that she is further along in her pregnancy. Back at the palace, Balaladeva is still concerned about Amrindra Bahubali's influence and concludes that as long as Amrindra Bahubali is alive, he presents a threat to his throne. As a result, he devises a scheme in which the Queen Mother Sivagami herself orders Amrindra Bahubali's execution. Balaladeva overhears a conversation between himself and his co-conspirator father, Sivagami's devious but cowardly spouse Bijaladeva. Nasser. Balaladeva and his father pretend to argue about killing Amrindra Bahubali, but his father pretends to be opposed to the plot. This leads Devasina's cousin Kumaravarma to believe that Balaladeva's father can be trusted, and he approaches him for assistance so that Amrindra Bahubali is not hurt. For his role in the plan, Balaladeva's father convinces him that the only way to protect Amrindra Bahubali is to kill Balaladeva. When the plot is carried out and Kumaravarma attacks Balaladeva, he falls into a trap and is killed. Balaladeva injures himself and then visits Sivagami, the queen mother. Because it was Devasina's cousin who attacked him, he persuades her that Amrindra Bahubali sent Kumaravarma as an assassin to kill him out of jealousy over his loss of the throne and leadership of the army. Sivagami, still enraged by Amrindra Bahubali's betrayal in choosing Devasina over her, is now persuaded that Amrindra Bahubali is capable of assassinating Balaladeva. Because Amrindra Bahubali is still beloved among the people, killing him outright would result in a lot of internal fighting. As a result, Sivagami instructs Katappa to assassinate him discreetly. Katappa cannot refuse the order because he is obligated to assist the royal ruler. The plot is for a gang of rogue warriors to pursue Katappa into the village where Amrindra Bahubali lives with his wife. While this plan is being carried out, Amrindra Bahubali's wife is giving birth, but Amrindra Bahubali is compelled to abandon his wife in order to assist Katappa. Despite the fact that the warriors can injure him, none of them can slay him. Amrindra Bahubali murders them all, leaving Katappa to complete the job. When Amrindra Bahubali turns his back on Katappa, he plunges his blade into his back. After Amrindra Bahubali dies, Balaladeva arrives to gloat over his dead body and expresses his depravity by hacking at the dead body with an axe. Balaladeva also thinks Katappa is his loyal dog and, in his haste to win, reveals his entire devious plot to have Amrindra Bahubali assassinated by the Mother Queen's order. Katappa hurries off to inform the Mother Queen of Balaladeva's actions and that Amrindra Bahubali had never done anything wrong. Mother Queen Sivagami is stunned, having finally realized what she has done. Devasina had given birth to her son, young Mahendra Bahubali, in the meantime, and while she is still struggling, she makes her way to the palace with her new baby and is horrified to learn of her husband's death. When Balaladeva returns, he instructs his mother to go to the palace balcony and tell the people of Amrindra Bahubali's death. Instead, she takes the baby out onto the balcony to proclaim that he is the new ruler of the kingdom, and Katappa swears to defend and serve him. Balaladeva, enraged by Sivagami's declaration, has the guards assault her, but she manages to flee on a boat through the massive palace's water canals with Katappa's assistance. While she is fleeing, Balaladeva shoots an arrow into her back, the same arrow seen at the beginning of the previous film, and she falls into the canal/river, probably drowned and dead, along with the baby. Balaladeva captures Devasina, who is still struggling after giving birth, and imprisons her in the royal courtyard. Present day, 25 years later. In the current day, Mahendra Bahubali, also portrayed by Prabhas, the son of A.B. and Devasina, is enraged after learning what happened to his parents. He orders Katappa's elite soldiers, the rebels he was assisting in the rescue of Devasina from the first film, not realizing she was his mother, and the entire village to prepare for battle against Balaladeva and his army in order to reclaim the kingdom. When Balaladeva learns of the danger, he orders his soldiers to attack, and he rides his massive chariot out of the palace, recaptures Devasina, and returns to the palace, closing the massive drawbridge leading into the palace once he is safely inside. Mahendra Bahubali and his soldiers enter the city by bending long trees and using them as catapults to propel themselves over the palace walls while shields form a protective shell around them. When the groups reach the palace walls, the drawbridge is opened, allowing the rest of the troops to breach the palace and take the fight to the palace courtyard. Mahendra Bahubali heads straight to battle Balaladeva. The battle is evenly matched, with both warriors demonstrating their strength. While everyone else is battling Devasena, the sacrificial ceremony that Sivagami started a long time ago begins. Obstacles are thrown in her path, and a bridge she needs to cross is set on fire, but a route appears to magically clear for her to continue her journey around the temple to finish the ceremony. When Mahendra Bahubali eventually gets the upper hand in his fight with Balaladeva, he wraps his fists in metal chains and punches him into submission. Balaladeva is beaten into the region where Devasena was imprisoned for 25 years. When the palace guards set fire to the bridge that Devasena had been gathering wood, it was covered in oil. When Mahendra Bahubali beats Balaladeva onto the pile of sticks, Devasena ends her journey precisely where he is beaten. She throws the hot embers at him, setting him on fire. We are transported to the crowning of Mahendra Bahubali. His foster mother, Senga, Rohini, blesses him, and his biological mother places the king's crown on his head. Mahendra Bahubali declares peace at the conclusion of the film.